All right. Tonight. We will have ourselves a good time. I want to go over in this workshop, well, we're going to break it into two parts. Part one of the workshop, we're going to take a look at our character sheets that were submitted to us, right? We are playing the role of Dungeon Master. Interestingly, in some odd meta sense, we're role-playing being a Dungeon Master. And, yeah, oh, there was a squeak. You going to come over and say hi? Excuse you? No, that's not an option. That is still not an option. Are you coming to say hi? Maybe not. All right, well. As we're role-playing being a Dungeon Master, we are going to... Oh, there she is. We're going to sit down with our 4 character sheets from our party, you know, our players that have made a party together. And I'm going to go over some techniques and how you can draw inspiration from your players to really help solidify an idea that you might have for your for the campaign you want to run. And even if it's a module that's, you know, something that's pre-written, this would let you find a lot of good inroads. You know, NPCs that you know exist that your players don't yet, but for sure you might be able to modify some behavior, or even talk to the player and say, okay, so you have this NPC that's mentioned in your bond, that's in your background. I have an idea for the NPC. How about we replace this person with someone named Blinsky? Would you be okay with that? And then you go on to describe Blinsky. Shukan is back, and yes, you've arrived when there's cat butt. Oh, you went to shave and to get more tea. Hey, you see that? Abra says hi to you. Isn't that nice of him? Or her, sorry. Isn't that nice of Abra to say hello to you, Nisa? Yep, that's it. Your tail's just... I'm cutting your tail off. There it goes. Just like a tree. Yep. Here it goes. Timber. Alright, well, cat butt aside. So we're going to get ideas for these prompts, and from those, we are going to make an NPC, and we'll make a Humblewood NPC. Then we'll take a break, and when we come back, we are going to make a Humblewood villain, and take a look at some of the other cues that we have established, and we'll make an adventure. Hey, those are not yours, ma'am. She was going after the prize goblins. I have the gold and bronze prize goblin off camera right over here. Oh, yes, what a cute owlbear that is. I love seeing that owlbear. Not really on the keyboard, no. It's not necessarily even warm. I'm sitting somewhat in the path of a fan that's off to the side. But I mean, I think she just wants to climb and crawl, as, you know, as cats are wont to do. But there she is. She's over my shoulder. You know, probably very comfortable in an uncomfortable position here, half leaning off. And as long as she's not scratching up the material, then so much the better. Zero, yeah, don't stop me now. We're going to have a good time. You should have a laptop on because laptops are always made of worms. Shukan, I do not have a laptop, actually. That's something that I would love to save up for as an expansion project, especially because I can take a laptop with me and hook up a couple of cameras. I could use it to broadcast from the store, and I don't have to bring my computer, my home computer, down with me. Don't worry about it, Shukan. I would need to do some research and set a goal and see if I can't do some sort of a fundraiser towards that. She is very charismatic, Abra. You were correct. Oh, the battery? Yeah, battery goes out on those things. That's partially why I'm between either a laptop or like a very portable, like a small tower. Alright, so we have our setting. We have our chair actors. And I also have this handy dandy guide. Look at this. This is... Another part about having a beard is occasionally, you know... It helps dust your cookies, and it'll also strain your soup for you. But also, you know, there's other times that it just wants to crawl all around and get in the way. I don't think I'm muted. That should be you. I'm definitely seeing mic activity. All right, so we have this advanced worksheet because Dungeons and Dragons planning should be grueling and stressful, and you should not like doing it. You're fine, O'Sheeps. Don't worry about it. There are aspects of a story that we can draw from the existence of our characters. And this is going to be a slightly different party breakdown than maybe what you've seen in other workshops, where we have the list of the skills, where we have, you know, where we compare ACs and hit points, you know, and we could always, you know, bring that up and do that comparison. Though this is going to be more of a conceptualization more than looking at perhaps the hard math, or at least, you know, some statistical underpinnings to the party. Oh, Shukan, Sheep's finished. Oh, is that something that you are willing to share? Yeah, oh wait, Walleye. So Shukan ended up getting the golden prize goblin from James Norse in a very beneficial mutual trade, and commissioned O'Sheeps to do the art. And so it sounds like Shukan is willing to show what the golden prize goblin was worth here. Yeah, you could put it in your creations if you'd like. Now, all throughout a character sheet, and that does include spells, and I know that we haven't put spells, we haven't really chosen spells for our characters, though that's fine, because when we choose spells, it's based off of everything here, and especially in this area. Anyway, I want to go over the characters, and what can we find that would be a setting clue? Where would a character like this come from or really shine based on who they are and the things that we know about him or her? So I'm actually going to squish this down just a little bit here. And so here we have Destro. Destro is our male kindled Corvum. Very smart. Is a fighter class of the Scofflaw archetype. And, you know, we don't have to be an active bandit or even, per the background, a former bandit. Scofflaw is more of like a street fighter. More of a down and dirty kind of fighter. And especially with that ability to take... Oh.
To the laptop, you know it isn't much.
Well, thank you, Shukan. I'll tell you what. Why don't I drop that at least for right now? Are you okay if I put that in the September stretch? Because if I don't end up using all of it, then I can roll that over into the next project. Okay, thank you. Hey, Refry, welcome. So Destro is someone who learned to fight, and that fighting means that you're often around a lot of improvised weapons. So this would be more of a populated area. Not very much a loner. A populated area on the ground, as he is grounded, which means that he is a bird folk, though he prefers being on the ground with the humble folk. It doesn't do well with heights at all. I always second guess my choices. I will deny my fears to everyone. Others think of me as weak, but I will prove my worth with hard work and determination. Actually, you know what? By virtue of him being grounded on here, a populated area on the ground, and a perch from which he originated. So he could have a hometown in the boughs of the trees, though he has now an adopted hometown on the ground. I follow the teachings of a wise outcast I met in my travels, so that's gonna actually be an NPC queue here. I'm incapable of action when at great heights. All right, so we have a setting queue from Destro. NPC queues. We got to mind our NPCs and queues. Hey, Cryofrost, welcome. How high are we talking? It was never determined, but that is a good question to ask, especially as we're going through the role play of setting things up to run the game. What is the threshold for our fear effect to take place? And that being said, we may establish a hard, all right, so, anything above 30 feet. Now, does that mean that the character is going to act completely normally and fearless and not concerned at all and is willing to climb to 29 feet every day of the week? No, because it's a general roleplay prompt. Though we're setting this guideline for when the fear is really gripping the character. The cat is back. Yeah, she's sniffing around. I don't think the rails matter. I think it's just an overall fear of heights, Shukan. Now, our NPC queue is I follow the teachings of a wise outcast I met in my travels. Now, this as a wise outcast, this could be another grounded bird folk. Or it could be a humble folk. Remember, bird folk are the birds that live up high. Humble folk are the deer and hedgehogs that live on the ground below. Thank you, Hydrogen. We have a cat cam and we have a special emote for when the cats do show up. So we have this outcast mentor or even an author, right? Because it just follows the teachings. Is this, is this someone that was, alive or is still alive and has offered advice? Or perhaps after falling to the forest floor and, getting that injury and the fear started to set in. Is it a book? You know, some kind of a self-help book or a survival on the ground book. Ma'am, you got to behave. There we go. Now, what about a villain? Is there anything here either directly stated or that we can see in the negative space left behind by the other comments? Hey, Coffee Cat, welcome. You know, when she swishes her tail too, it's like, ugh, you know, because she's shedding in the summer heat. Probably pull a pound of fur off of her every day. I don't know how. It's like a tissue box. It just kind of keeps coming back. But what can we see about this character that would prompt a villain or even a rival of some kind? Of course, a rival kind of spans between well, all villains are NPCs. You know, but between NPC and villain, if you wanted to make another strata for that, you may. But we could put a villain or even villain / rival here. And if we do that, then there's a couple things that we could probably glean off of our character as we have him developed. Someone back home. Someone back home, a friend or family member, who disagrees with his lifestyle choice, or was the one who literally or metaphorically pushed him over the edge and led to him fleeing his perch. Was it a rival? Or was it someone maybe, you know, what if he saw something when he was a kid? You know, a thief broke into the house, or, you know, or a parent was, you know, being shaken down, you know, because maybe the parent had an outstanding gambling debt or something, and an enforcer came to the house. The kid saw something and ended up getting tossed out of the top floor of a tower. If any of you get the reference, but it's something similar, right? Someone who had ill intent, and maybe part of that fear of going back up is because there is this villainous character or this bully character that exists up in the boughs, and, you know, and maybe told him, you know, like, kid, if I ever see you again, I'm gonna, you know, if I ever see you again, I'm gonna make sure the job is finished, and poof, sent him over. Nothing in the background explicitly states that. Though, look, we have someone who wants to prove his worth. And also someone, though, who fled. Maybe not by his own will initially, but is now happy to live on the ground. Someone who's always second-guessing his choices. Should I have done the right thing? You know, there was some kind of, you know, in that moment of indecision, like, I was a weak kid. You know, I could have done something more, should I? And since then has just gone on to be a survivor, to use the elements around him, which is why he's so great with improvised weapons. That's not a bad one. People use that. There's one, it's called Kai free drawing or something like that. A lot of people I was gonna say isekai, and sure, you can get sucked into a world of art and imagination, I suppose. And yeah, Big Sam, by the way, hey Big Sam, bandits are sort of a ubiquitous force in the forest here. And so this could end up being, you know, a bandit gang leader enforcer. This could also mean that we have a bond, even if we don't know about it. What if there's a bond because of the villain between Destro and Rena? I'm doodling in. Oh, SA. Or is it SA, or I thought it was Psy, but yeah, it might be SA. Oh, no. San Antonio by Night. That's your vampire game. Never mind. Disregard me, Coffee Cat. You're good. Yeah, it'd be a good time to the and this is why sitting down and collecting this information is so useful. So for sure, this is a good villainous option. Now, what about something like thematic or moral cues? And I guess I'd have to swap this over here. What would be some thematic or moral cues that we could take away? What do we want to do? Here's an example. Others think of me as weak, but I will prove my worth with hard work and determination. Proving oneself, strength, and resolve. Right? You always second guess your choices. But I'll deny my fears to everyone. So this is also acceptance of one's doubts. It's okay to doubt. There are many things I don't know. Many things you don't know. You have known knowns, you have known unknowns, and you have unknown unknowns. Walleye fan, if we could build that into the story, so that this is all that stuff is very fertile, either session 0 material, or as we play things out, we tell people in meta, okay, so everyone at the table, this is going to be our session. I'm going to start with the hedgehog, and she is going to go around, and we are going to build the party through a series of encounters in this session or over the course of a session, couple or so. But that could very well be a connection. In the event that made the bandit quit is the event that turned him, like a botched robbery leading to the death of a loved one. Selg, welcome. My friend is introducing me to D&D, and they want me to play Bard. When searching the web about playing Bard, and everyone says they are sex craved. No, Selg, it's an ongoing joke, but you absolutely do not have to incorporate anything sexual into your character. You can have, you could be a storyteller. I mean, just a gentle old man who travels from town to town, telling stories or playing an instrument. You could be a tumbler, like a circus performer, an acrobat. And so that's a part of your performance. And it's more about, either entertainment or even, you want to be the best. And so you practice and you travel and learn. It does not have to include elements like that if you do not wish it to. But if you have questions, this is a workshop to ask them. You are absolutely welcome to do so, especially because we actually have a bard character that we're going to be examining. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Phoenix? Hello, my gosh. What a host. 31 viewers, welcome. So for all of you who are, hey, stop it, ma'am. I have to welcome guests, and I can't have you destroying property with your claws by doing that. So everyone, please welcome Phoenix and crew. Give them some Matty Morg's emotes and love, please. Thank you so much for coming over and saying hi. Now, is that Phoenix Risen, or do you want me to pronounce it a different way? Also, please, yeah, raid time. What were you up to? Talk about your channel. Talk about the things you've been doing.
All right.
You all are absolutely welcome here as we're getting into our DM workshop using cues from our. Oh. What is up with you two? Ah! They're going nuts. I just want a nice, methodical cat. Nice and easy. You know what you're gonna get. Rocks fall, everyone dies. Are you gonna try this again? Yeah, you are. Alright. Alright, so there you go. There's the model for the cat butt emote. Variety streamer that loves to have fun. Phoenix, that's wonderful. Do you, by chance, do you play any tabletop games? Either board games, or do you play D&D, or Dark Heresy? Do you play Pathfinder, or All Flesh Must Be Eaten? Lamentations of the Flame Princess, or something else? I had a friend tell me about you and wanted to show some love. Hey, look, Phoenix, you probably know this as a fellow denizen here on Twitch, but referrals are the best compliment that someone can give. And so I am honored that I was able to impress your friend enough to pass along our community to you, and that you took a chance on visiting us here. Hi. And the cats. D&D and Pathfinder, excellent. Well, hey, I don't know if you're winding down and you got to go to bed or something, because it's almost midnight depending on your time zone. But if not, you're welcome to sit back and listen, as the workshops that we run here, they're very Bob Ross style, very approachable. People who are new to D&D, there's stuff for them to enjoy and consider. And even if you've been around for a while and you're gray in the beard, there might be a different technique or a way that either, if you're not taking something away, you can offer a different perspective. You can find a connection where maybe one hasn't been found and share that to help other people in chat as well. All right, sheeps. Hopefully the world stops spinning for you. Hey, Mazamune, welcome. Oh, Mazamune, you gave him the raid target? Well, thank you. I am honored. You probably heard me say that my blurb about referrals. And thank you very much, Mazamune. I'm honored to have left that impression on you enough that you would want to share this community with others that you hold near and dear. Yeah, just put a little ogre here. I'm going to drop a couple happy goblins in the dungeon. So from Destro, these are our thematic or our moral cues. And all of this, look, as a dungeon master, we're lazy. We're just taking information that was given to us by one of our players, and our player is the one who did this work and feels absolutely excited about it. Because in the scenario, this character was submitted to play, to have fun, to watch this crow character, this Corvum, which is one of the bird races in the Humblewood campaign setting. Unofficial, but it was through Kickstarter. This person's excited and would absolutely glom onto these prompts, because this is an extension of their character. And now you've hooked the character in, and you may very well find connections between party members and further bond them to the world in which you are presenting. Are we good? You got your pets? Now you're... All right. Every ogre has to have a friend. Oh, gosh. All right, so that was Destro. And all the characters you see here, we generated over the last 2 nights completely randomly. That way it removes personal biases, and it really prompts us to think, because we might have to make connections between concepts that we never had to before. And it helps us grow as people. You know what? We never gave the hedgehog cleric a name. Our poor hedgehog cleric. She's a little long in the snoot here, 116. She's this living saint, and despite being a ground creature, carries this blessing of the wind, right? You are wind touched. People will follow you. And perhaps even more, you are the groundiest of the ground. Because you have a dig speed as this character. You know, you were born on the ground. You were meant to live underground and tunnel and burrow. You even have the ability to speak with bugs. Not that there's not bugs that fly around. And so here we have a very interesting character as well, individually. But now, what does that say about her in the party? And what can we draw from her, and therefore draw from her? How can we connect her to the others? And all of this stuff... Amy Rose, yes. So we need to give her a Warhammer, and it just disappears somewhere when she's not using it. Goes to hammer space. You know, all these character aspects are things that were given to us. We just get to sit back behind the nice mahogany desk in an executive chair and look at the papers. And go, yes. Oh, I see a connection here. Very good, very good. I will be hard at work at this. And you dismiss them, and then you just go and play on your Switch for a little bit because you already have the work done. You picked up Arkenforge, and I'm going to stream map making on it. Mazamune, if you stream it, please share it to our community. There's a channel for it on our Discord, and the more of you that stream, I want to know about it. Because, again, talking about referrals, if I know what you do as a streamer, I can refer people to you. You know, do you want to watch someone who's a variety streamer? Do you want to watch someone who's a map maker or another workshop person? Do you want to watch someone who's running Storm King's Thunder? Or some other content? You know, someone who speedruns Mario. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be D&D. But if I learn that about you, I can help support you. And maybe get some eyeballs to your channel. Alright, so here is... If you want to take the pun on Amy Rose, something that you can do often is swap around letters. And you know, if you still want the core of the pun, and so here's a quick naming convention, right? So in this case, we could go, Ome Raisa. Ah, I'm Ome Raisa. Pleasure to meet you. Oh, yes, I am wind touched. But please, don't touch too much. The quills are sharp. As is my mind, I may be old. But I haven't lost my edge. Oh, dear. Now, please, you look hungry. I will use the powers of community in order to feed you and warm you. You're welcome by our fire to tell a tale. Or perhaps I can tell you one. I've been around a very long time, young one. Yes, I know, you're 60, but I'm going on 120. You are a young one to me. You like Ome Raisa? Big Sam's See Me Row. GM Vault. Hopefully you at least remember to wear underwear this time. Either that or you're like E.T. You're just going through you as this glow streak through the woods. Alright, so let's... Ome is nice and short to type. I'm not just dismissing your suggestion offhand, Big Sam, but for for what I'm doing here, in the moment, Ome is just a nice short name to type out. So we have Ome here. Now, what can we learn about the setting? Is that required? I don't require pants in chat. I can only presume that you all have such a device. But if you don't, I'm none the wiser. What are some setting cues that we can get from Ome? So she is a community cleric. There exists perhaps then a place where she studied, or at least a place if she was touched by this deific power and it was granted to her, then a place where she had gone afterwards, or she was found and brought to develop her powers, or a simple church that she herself leads, and for her own reasons, she has left in order to go through the world and to bring people together. So I'm gifted by the wind and destined for greatness. I have no time for those who doubt me. Responsibility: the powers I have been gifted with are meant to serve the common good. I am one with the wind. Personal relationships are fleeting, and I can't accept another suggestion once I've set my path. All right, so setting cues. A religious institution that she either founded or was found by and brought up as a wind touched. Now, what about an NPC? What could be some cues for NPCs that exist in the world? Ome, I mean, there's a flock of believers and clergy as well, because that's very broad, and it certainly exists. But is there anything maybe even more specific? We could always, pluck one of the followers and develop that follower more, or that, an acolyte that's on a pilgrimage with her in order to learn the ways of the wind. And so this acolyte can become an NPC as well. Gifted by the wind, I have no time for those who doubt me. Responsibility. Common good. As she serves the common good, and she is a figure that, even in Humblewood, says that if you're wind touched and you have the power to manipulate wind, you are you're kind of like a living saint. People revere you. They see that you aren't just something that others apply to as a label, but you're walking the walk and talking the talk. And even more so that we rolled her to randomly be a community domain cleric. People just love her. So as well, this can include political figures and even perhaps a celestial friend. Now, what about a villain or a rival? Who could dare oppose our awesome, though stern, Granny? Almost the opposite side of the same coin. We could have other wind touched that feel overshadowed or jealous. Ambitious religious members. An assassin who wants to make a name for him or herself. Also, as we manipulate the wind, and if we have perhaps a celestial ally, we may also have elemental or fiendish enemies. Hey, Derek, welcome. I'm sorry to hear your D&D game got called tonight. And what about thematic or moral cues? Well, we have someone who's towards the end of her life. And if you want to explore that somewhere in your story, you can explore the journey of life and even the acceptance of its end. You know, this is a good prompt. What if you talked to this player who gave you this character and said, I'm digging it. I like I like everything you have here. By the end of the story, not that I'm asking you to sacrifice your character, but is this going to be Ome's last adventure? Did she leave her, her area, her church or her congregation or whatever? Did she leave? Maybe because she knew that this was, that this was the final tour around the forest. And you can have this conversation, and the player might actually stop and think and say, you know what? I definitely see that's something that she'd incorporate. And therefore the player can use that as a prompt for role-playing. You have someone who seemingly just looks beyond herself, or throughout the course of the campaign continually makes references that are longer and longer. Crawdaddy's downtown. Crawdaddies. So we're role-playing here, so I am sitting down at a table in your restaurant. What does the chef recommend I have? Feed me. Tell me what's good. More into Detroit. Yep, so Derek's going to be broadcasting Vampire the Masquerade. Detroit by Night, the Motor City Broke Down. Tomorrow. Jealous bird folk. Not. Oh, and yes, exactly, Big Sam. I'm going to go put that up here as well. Bird folk jealous of her powers and resentful that they were given to the lowest of the low ground people. Boiled crawfish with a side of potatoes and corn. Are we talking... All right, so are we talking like mashed potatoes? And if so, like, do you have like a garlic butter you put on that? Or do you throw in some cheese? Or are we just talking like baked redskins and you eat it, and when you eat the redskins, it snaps in your mouth? And corn. Are we grilling it? Are we boiling it? Do we put some black pepper on it? A little bit of butter? Maybe, do we put a little bit of Frank's Red Hot on it? You're building NPCs for San Antonio by Night? Because Coffee Cat is also going to be running Vampire down in the Lone Star State. No, Gaius, it is not. This character sheet is one that we use... I've been using this character sheet for our exercises for about a year now. Oh, you've never had grilled corn. Now, of course, you can always wrap it in foil and grill it that way, or you can put it on the grill. Stop making me hungry, says Walleye fan? I mean, your name is Walleye. It's delicious. I kind of want a walleye sandwich, too. Sweet corn with red new potatoes boiled in the crawfish juice. Everyone, you have the chef's recommendation. So, a heap and pile of steaming crawdads with sweet corn and red potatoes boiled in the juice. Beer battered tilapia. Oh, I'll take it. I'm very hungry. I chose not to eat. I have some pizza left over from earlier today, and I chose not to eat it because I was like, oh, what if I eat it and it gives me the itis, and I'm just gonna get really sleepy on stream. And then what does that do for you all? Abra, you're laying down to sleep and you're listening to us in the background? If so, then hey, relax. Listen to the soothing tone of my voice as we narrate a D&D adventure while you fall asleep. Oh, I'm all right. Geoz. Thank you for correcting my pronunciation, and I will do my best to remember that. Geoz. Geoz. G is it 3 syllables, right? Geoz. Geoz. Oh, that sounds good, Walleye. Man, we have a hungry stream going on right now. We're so super hungry. Never stream on an empty stomach, everyone. So the journey of life and even the acceptance of its end. This could also, you can explore the fact, look, we have, I have no time for those who doubt me, right? She's the stern grandma. Now you listen to me. I've been around these woods for a good long while. And so it's not just the acceptance of the end of life. We could even say that, even, the humblest humble folk are the ground-dwelling races in this setting, can be humbled herself and realize that perhaps all her life she wasn't any more special than others because she relied on those same others for recognition when it should have come from within. Hey, how about that? I've got 250 people eating crawfish and watching Endgame in my theater. Ooh. Ooh. That is a party, crawdaddies. Boiled cob corn, new taters, andouille sausage, and crawdad with Old Bay seasoning equals Carolina bog. So, all right, Crawdaddies is taking a moment to step away from this awesome event on a Saturday night to say hi to us. Crawdaddies, thank you so much. I'm happy that we're worth your time to stop in and say hi, and I absolutely hope that you are having a fantastic night. People are happy, and that your pocketbook is filling up, sir, or ma'am. All right, look, we're making great progress here. Now let's go over to Rena, who is our trash panda character here, our raccoon. Although, of course, it was brought up, maybe she's an opossum. An opossum could work very well in the scheme of what the race that we rolled for her does. So we have Rena. And we're going to put her prompts down here. Oh, do you have one of those beer grillers? Like you put the can of beer in the chicken and you just let it roast and steam at the same time? All right, now... Crawdaddies? Oh, you're sharing the love. Thank you so much. If you want to say, you don't have to. If you want to say where your place is at, you're welcome to, because you know, hey, I'm a small business person myself here, and if I can endorse another small business, so be it. But if I'm ever in the neck of your woods, I will definitely be coming by your restaurant and having a meal. Now, for the setting, the very first thing from our character can provide for a setting is the fact that we said her name is, she is O or of. She is Rena of Willow Chitter. And Willow Chitter got its name, I mean, in the in-game sense, not how we actually manufactured it. But Willow Chitter is a place that is just rife with willow trees that blow in the wind, and in all of their little leaves and their the reedy bits that are drifting, all just kind of, like rub together and make this chittering noise. And so we have, as a setting cue from her name, Willow Chitter. It could be a town. It could just be countryside. Maybe there's like a farming village or a couple, and the village is really just more like an extended family, all like farms different parts of this county or something. But we have Willow Chitter. But what else? We're a bandit defector, which means that we had to defect from a bandit group somewhere, and bandits often have bandit camps. There's a bandit camp somewhere that she ran away from. You're in Corpus Christi, Texas. All right, so there are a couple folk in this community who are from Texas. So my goodness, I might have to save up for a trip and go visit y'all, and apparently have some good food as well. Does your so Coffee Cat is from and is going to be running a vampire game in San Antonio. So Coffee Cat, if you need inspiration for a good place for people to go and have crawdads, you can either pluck crawdaddies from there, or you can have the vampires visit Corpus Christi. You have a good spring break season, I imagine, don't you? So a bandit camp, the town or countryside of Willow Chitter. Oh, you're an hour and a half in, so if it's endgame, we'll see you in about 3 hours, crawdaddies. Hey, thanks for taking a minute to say hi. Go do what you gotta do. Go have fun, make memories, make money, make people happy. Promote your business. Oh, Giaz. Okay. All right. So it wasn't 3 syllables. All right. So it's pronounced Giaz. Giaz, Giaz, Giaz. Hey, Giaz, what's up? This is a technique for you all. If you want to learn names, repeat them several times. You could do it in your head, but if you say it out loud, I mean, what? Am I going to feel embarrassed that I'm learning how to pronounce someone's name when they're telling me how to pronounce it so I can pronounce it correctly? I'm not going to feel shame in that. So, Giaz, I will, anytime you come by, and if I ever do slip up, let me know. I won't take it personally, but I will do my best to remember that your name is Giaz. So we know bandit routes. Oh, this is our bard. We've also picked up some things along the lines, which actually is going to play really well into our NPCs and even villains. I have trouble sleeping unless I'm on the ground. I picked up many stories during my time on the road, and I've one for every occasion. Compassion, the struggle between humble folk and bird folk will only lead to more bloodshed. It needs to stop somewhere. I harbor a terrible secret that might change how people think of me if it got out. Well, what if, instead of the bandit leader having shoved Destro out of the perch, all those years ago, because they're about the same age. Rena is 26. Destro's 22. What if the secret is she's the one? So what if Destro walked out, saw Rena acting as lookout in the bandit gang sneaking into town, and Rena, as an up-and-coming member of the bandit gang, you know, as a lookout, you're not necessarily the one who's the frontline combat person, but Rena, in a panic as lookout, pushed Destro out. And that is the bond. That is the terrible secret. And we actually have something, like, so these two are friends, Rena and Destro, and yet their friendship is built on this terrible secret. And you know what that's gonna, you know where that's going? For a thematic or moral cue. You made the name for a fighter in Final Fantasy 1 on the Game Boy Advance. Good memories. I remember playing that on Nintendo. All right, so you know what? I think we have... this is enough for a setting queue. NPC queues. A friend that's still in the bandit gang. Right, we're a defector who found this group, so we don't really have a lot of other external friends because we're seeking salvation and forgiveness, and so of course we're going to glom on to Ome here. And so she's not very social. However, there's someone who taught her this trick, the improved traveler's trick of the acrobatics lessons. There could be someone still on the inside of that bandit gang that if she ever sees again, maybe, you know, it's a friendly contact, or, you know, we thought you were lost or something, and that could have a moment. You know, not everyone needs 5 different prompts for everything, and you go from there. All right, now, what about a villain or a rival? Rena is pretty simple. A villain or a rival could very much be the bandit leader. Or, how about this? If the bandit leader is the one who taught her these tricks, because maybe she impressed him or her. The one who is sort of like, I don't want to say corrupting the bandits, like what, you're turning bandits even worse, but someone who has aspirations to take over. Maybe instead of just thievery, like sneaking and thieving, you know, it will include, look, we're going to take murder contracts, or, you know, we're fine killing people. So the bandit leader, or perhaps an aspiring vicious lieutenant. Nadpoo, oh my goodness. It has been a minute, sir. How have you been? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so Giaz, Humblewood was a Kickstarter, was a Kickstarter creation here, and it does use the Open Gaming license. Yeah, her old boss. Very much. Hey, work, make money, pay your bills, Nadpoo. You know, get the things you need to get, and then get the things you want to get. I don't begrudge any of you for working and taking care of yourselves. Not at all. And now our thematic or moral cues. Honesty. It's kind of like a My Little Pony episode here. Honesty, friendship. Settling differences between enemies, which could even include the villain. She might not want to kill the villain or something along those lines. If we take a look at Rena, I have trouble sleeping unless I'm on the ground in my bedroll. This is also overcoming guilt. Absolutely, by the way. Overcoming guilt. Compassion. I harbor a terrible secret. And whenever I see something valuable, I can't help but think of a way to steal it. This is also like another, I don't want to steal. I feel compelled. Is it because I'm a raccoon? It needs to be 20% cooler. All right, well, I gotta drop the shades on it then. And lastly, what can we glean from our character sheets from Sir Repador Van Winkle and his faithful mount McTuggy? And McTuggy may very well be the familiar and or the patron that our little Gerbine, our little like gerbil, our kangaroo mouse character entered into. And then, of course, we were joking around that it might end up being a succubus as the medium for the infernal powers here. For a lot of different reasons. We were in a mood last night when we were making these characters. And Pneumonica had an absolutely brilliant quip, like a summary about the character. So we have Repador. We have Repador. We have Repador once more. And lastly but not leastly, we have Repador. Alright, a setting. What, where, etc. I like to talk at length about my profession. I'm a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art. Freedom. Everyone should be free to pursue his or her own livelihood. The workshop where I learn my trade is the most important place in the world to me. Ding, 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 ding. Leather workshop / a tannery. Now for NPCs, you could consider the familiar that our chain-packed warlock has. The familiar. And or his patron or matron as appropriate. Does the patron pop up every now and again and help, advise, bicker? Tell him he should have done better. If our character is good, is it the temptation to evil? This is going to be for the end. Is this character going to be exploring the downfall of virtue in a character? Someone who's starting out good and is slowly succumbing to, the reasoning of things, to, cold logic getting in the way, like interfering with emotional. Like, no one's gonna miss this. And, meanwhile, 3 months later, oh, well, we can't just take this mushroom. That would be improper. What if someone is truly starving, needs it on the side of the road? That's a very PG example of where this could go. Especially because we have someone who's experienced with leather, who is on a bit of a slippery slope, perhaps, to evil. And especially because we're corrupting this little gerbil character, this little kangaroo mouse. Young to the world. My leather's the best. And I sell all the best leather and leather accessories. And it just gets into more creative uses for it, more creative sources for it. Reasoning and rationale. Incrementalism, my friends. Incrementalism. Big Sam, maybe a second warlock from the same patron vying for the full blessing. Oh, hey, that's an excellent boom right from the side. Yeah. So this could be a villain. I mean, depending on how you want to portray the patron could be a rival or a villain, or we could have a rival or villain with another warlock tasked by the same patron and measuring each to determine who gets the magic and whose soul is consumed, or something of equal value. Probably not. The store, as I run the store game, that's like a D&D 101. And so I focus on the core rule books. And if we do play an adventure, which, I mean, Humblewood maybe I could bring in. If we do play an adventure such as Tomb of Annihilation, I do allow the backgrounds. There's 2 backgrounds from that module. And so I allow that because, I'll have the book there, it's accessible, and it's immediately relevant. But for the most part, everything that we do is it's a player's handbook. I mean, you could play a Death Cleric or an Oathbreaker out of DMG, but, the core rulebook stuff. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could also build a group to promote the material and see if you can develop a following. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you'd find people who want to play Humblewood at the store. Absolutely. Now, we can also have another rival or an enemy. Oh, actually, hang on. A familiar patron, a friendly tanner, which can also include his mercantile mentor. So, too, 2 sides of the same coin here. A rival salesman... a salesperson who is out to crush the competition. Maybe literally, if that person is the opposing warlock. So in that case, you could make a villain that kind of pops up every now and again and causes a skirmish or a very big inconvenience. Thematic moral cues. The tug of war between good and evil, as well as the selling and perhaps redemption of oneself. Also, to understand that being on a high horse doesn't give others a good view of you. You want to make connections. If you think that you're this you think that you're this power broker for leather here, and you want to rub elbows with you hobnob with the snobs, and yet think of all the other people that you could be selling leather to if you didn't just look down on them like, you can't afford these goods. I'm not going to sell to you. I won't even market to you. I might even turn you into leather goods to sell to higher ups. Some people play homebrew at the store, Shukan. I run out of the books because I want to keep things accessible, and to keep everyone pretty much on the same page. Also, the concept of personal satisfaction, right? He probably went into this pact thinking, oh, well, it's just one other thing. It's a credential I'm going to get. I'll put it on my business cards. You know, but it's never enough. Never enough. I need more. I want more. I want to see more things. I want to sell more things. I want to learn more things. All right. So we have a lot of very excellent prompts pulled from our character here. And now the question is, do we, look, if you're running a game, you could make 11 billion NPCs. There's nothing wrong with that. For purposes of the workshop, right, we have an artificial time constraint. What is an NPC from the queues here that we could hook pretty firmly into one or more party members that might end up being the quest giver, or an NPC that does follow them along, or an NPC who might otherwise be very influential? So we have an outcast mentor, or even an author who taught him about survival on the forest floor. Ome has a flock of believers and clergy as well. This can include political figures and even perhaps a celestial friend. A friend that's still in the bandit gang. And for Reapador, familiar and or his patron, a friendly tanner, which can also include his mercantile mentor. These are our NPC prompts. And what of these is standing out to you if we're going to sit down and make, to go through a quick exercise to make an NPC and a villain? I think there's a very strong bond between Rena and Destro. I half wonder then if the friend that's in the bandit gang for Rena isn't also the same person who taught Destro how to survive on the forest floor. And this same person doesn't know offhand that Destro and Rena know each other. However, this friend of Rena's knows that she's the one who pushed this Corvum out of a tree. And a Corvum that, you know, has a striking resemblance to the one that's here. And so we have an NPC who inadvertently can create excellent moments of tension, especially with Rena. Hey, Hark, welcome. No, don't apologize. If you're having fun, have fun. It's a Saturday night. So I'm kind of thinking we can develop an NPC that is this connection between these two. Of course, it's still a person in the bandit gang, or, you know, sort of re-ups here. And tangentially, this NPC could even have had a dealing with Reapador in the past. And of course, Ome is just sort of like a universal, you know, I hobnob, I talk. A lot of common folk might follow me around or know me, but I also rub elbows with the uppity ups and the others because of my station in the society. So I kind of like that for the concept. And you know what? Let's take a break. Get up and stretch. Use the restroom. Do what you got to do. And when we come back, let's make this NPC and let's make the villain. So we'll sit down and think about, all right, so what do we want to do for the villain here as well? And once we have these that we're going to make over the... It's not going to take terribly long because we have a worksheet for each of them. And the worksheet makes things, so wonderful and succinct. We'll then sit down and think, all right, how can we use all these pieces in an adventure? And let's make a Humblewood adventure together, which will also include, because we're going to look at the setting as well. And it just so happens that I have a map of the Humblewood area here that we can choose a location and also explore it and more. What are the mock fields? And that is information in the Humblewood campaign setting. So, all right, everyone, 10-minute break, and then we're going to come back and continue the workshop, all right?